Hello, my Teaserking family. How are we today? I am fine. Thank you very much. I hurt my back sitting out getting some sun at the swim. And next thing I knew, yeah, okay, I'll go on in and start swimming. And all of a sudden, my back tightened up. I think it's the way I jumped off of the way I jumped off the it was like a little wall. It's a little bit tall, so you kind of jump on like 2 inches, and I'm fine. And then I get off. I don't get off right. I still think I'm fine, but my back tells me, no, 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 you can't do that. So I jump off, and my back, I must have done something. I can't stand up. I can't walk. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm bending over. I'm stretching. I immediately run to the hot tub. Doesn't do much. I get into the cold water. Does a little bit. I'm stretching. Doesn't do much. I can't really work out. I go back in the hot tub. Doesn't really do anything. I come home. I have my ibuprofen and my ice pack. It's starting to feel a little bit better. Meanwhile, my knee's pretty good. I was actually able to bend my knee a little bit. So the knee's recovering. And the back was fine. I mean, when I got there, I got out of the car. I'm walking, not a problem. I wanted to get some sun. That'll teach me. Anyway, that's what's happening. I didn't have a chance to do my stats because it's very hard for me to sit right now. I'll probably try to do them tonight. Let's go over yesterday's games in baseball. So we got Baltimore, which loses 9-2 to Arizona. Boston under, we win 3-2. It was under 7.5. Pitt over 9, we win. It ends at 9. We'll take the win. Minnesota 5-1. We have over 8. We don't get there. Manoa, Bradley over with the 377. They give up 1 run. Verlander, we hit 9-3. Had a 2-hit shutout after 8 innings. They brought in the bullpen guy in the 9th, and instead of letting Verlander, they already pitched 8 innings, guys. You might as well let him pitch the 9th. And the guy comes in as a pig, and he gives up 3 runs. So it should have been a 9-0 win, is a 9-3 win. But that's the Tigers. They'll hit when it doesn't mean anything. So anyway, we have Houston. We have Verlander. As I said, he was going to be pissed after the way he played against the Yankees. And boy, was he pissed. And they couldn't hit him. We had Philly. Miami win 7-6 in 10 innings. We have the Yankees. They win 10-6. We've got Cleveland over 9, and they win 7-0, which hurts. But both pitchers had terrible ERAs. Not sure how the Cleveland pitcher shut out the White Sox. Have Milwaukee. They lose 4-3 to St. Louis. McCullough with the 6.19 ERA keeps them to 3 runs. We got Colorado over 10, a 3-1 game. I don't know what the hell that is. We've got San Francisco under 7. We lose that one. We got KC 4-2. We have KC. We've got Oakland over 7.5, and it's 8-4 Seattle. We've got San Diego, and they win 4-0. And we have the METS, Mets, and they win. So the plays, the 5-unit Pittsburgh over is a winner. We lose Minnesota under 8.5, the loser. We hit Houston. We lose Philly, so we're 2-2. We lose Cleveland over 9 and hit KC. So we go 3-3 on our 5-unit plays. What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? So basically, not a bad day. Then we go to the NBA. 2 5-unit plays, and they both win fucking easily. We have our first game is a joke. We have Indy minus 5.5. They win 121 to 89. They're up like 50 to 10 when I was watching, so I turned it off. Again, they were down 2-1, must win at home, or they go down 3-1, and that's the method that we like to see. But you've got to wait for it. You can't do it every game. So we hit Indy minus 5.5. We finish that up with Denver plus 2.5. Same story, down 2-1, must win. We go down 3-1, and they play what? Now, how do you can't understand how they couldn't win at home, and as strong as Minnie looked. See, but Minnie's getting a whole different team in Denver, down 2-1. Now that series is even. So we go 2-0 in the NBA. Good job, Professor. See, when you kind of use logic and you bet psychology, it's a lot easier. How many people could have taken Denver in both those games and won? How many people could have taken Indy yesterday? Not many. Now it's today. And let's see what we do today. We've got Celtics lead the series 2-1 at Cleveland, and they're 12.5-point favorites. We ran into this in game 2 where they're 13, 14-point dogs, and Cleveland wins. I would suggest that we're going to go with Cleveland again. Cleveland plus 12.5. Seems like a joke. They can't go down 3-1. They're at home. Boston just wanted to win. Boston would like to win tonight. Cleveland has to win tonight. So let's go Cleveland. Tie up the series. And Oklahoma against Dallas. Oklahoma-Texas game. Earl Campbell, I think, is playing for Dallas. Billy Sims for Oklahoma. Dallas is leading 2-1. Won game 3. I think they won game 2 and game 3. Not this time. OKC. And I get 1.5. And this is do or die. We're going to make this. We'll make them both 5-star plays. I'll be shocked if Oklahoma loses. There's no way they're going to lose. You don't understand. Oklahoma is going to play their best game. They're the better team. Dallas won 2 in a row. Not a problem. I get it. But that's not how you have to look at it. You cannot look at the matchup and say, well, yeah, Dallas matches up good with them. It doesn't work. What happens is OKC gets Titanic. Everything comes back to the Titanic. I love it. So in my world, Oklahoma City realizes they've hit the iceberg and the water is coming in the boat. And they're looking for the lifeboat. And when you look at the lifeboat and there's that fear that you're going to die, you start playing backs against the wall. That's what backs against the wall really is. It's art of war. The army that is going to lose, and their backs against the wall, literally, and they're going to die, they fight much harder than the one coming at you because they're not going to die, so they don't worry about it. Oak Cities goes down 3-1. It's all over. So are they going to lose? Maybe. But you know you're going to get a great game. I guarantee you Oak City's going to win this game. Absolutely. Not a question in my mind. I mean, if you're James Conn the gambler and you're looking for that $50,000 to bet and you wasted on the Lakers Seattle game, And then you bet Howie's game where you take the Lakers over Atlanta by 9, and they win by 50. That's what you're getting here. Oak State could win by 50. This game's on at 9:30. Get it in early before it goes off the board. All right, love Oak State or Oklahoma City today. All right. Real quick, look at gold. Tomorrow's brics. And it'll be in the morning. So when we're sleeping, they're in their meeting. So when we get up, the meeting's already probably almost done. Silver, 28.27. Gold, 23.38. Down a little bit. I don't know why. Again, it ain't profit taking. Somebody wants the gold price down for some reason. It won't really matter. It's not going to stay down. So 23.38 gold. Big announcement will be tomorrow, or it could be Wednesday. Gold back brics currency. It's all but we just got to get it officially printed out. When it comes out will be soon. So this is going to be the announcement. It might take a week. It might take a month till they actually, here it is, and how are they going to do it? And it'll be half digital and half paper. When you want to buy Saudi oil, you're just gonna digitally move the money. But for everybody who wants it, they're gonna get paper money, and it'll be gold back. So this worries me with Daria. I don't know if I can help her anymore, because right now $1 buys you 95 rubles. She can eat. I can send her $100. I can't send her $100 when it's $100 buys you 1 ruble. Then we're going to have problems. So we will see where this is heading. But anyway, I mean, it was 30,000 Zimbabwe. $1 bought you 30,000, and when it went gold back, $1 bought you 13, which is still unbelievable how the dollar would be stronger than a gold back currency, which makes no sense. All right, so that's gold. 23.38, looking for 2,400 by the end of the week with the brics announcement. All right, baseball. Probably a limited schedule. It looks pretty serious. Okay, starting 6:35, you got 2 games, and then we get to 7 o'clock. So Toronto and Baltimore. Now, I haven't updated my thing. I did find the bullpen ERA on that covers that we look for football injuries. So now I don't want the full ERA. I just want the bullpen ERA. So I have that. Batting average. I don't know how meaningful batting average is. I do have runs for and runs against, but it's such a nightmare because, okay, the Tigers the day before had somebody who they hit pretty good, and then yesterday played Verlander, got shut out with two hits. That's the Tiger. That's the real Tiger team, is the one that played Verlander, 2 hits, no runs. That's the real team. When they play these bullshit pitchers and they get a few hits, yeah, they look better. Well, it's the same as the Lions, right? The Lions look good against Carolina and Atlanta, but when they play Baltimore and Dallas and even Seattle, they look like shit. So it always, how do they look against the better competition and the worst? That's why it's really hard to look at averages. Anyway, so Toronto, Baltimore. Baltimore is a 175, 7.5. Jose Berrios, 4-3 at the 285. Corbin Burns, 3-2 at the 283. Now, we pick every game based on the starters' ERAs, and yet we're going maybe 5. What did I do yesterday? 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6, 4-7, 5 and 7, 6 and 7, 7. I went 8 and 7 just by picking the pitchers' ERAs. If they're even, over under, and if there's a ace against the fifth. And I could only go 8 and 7 using that method. So that method isn't, we got to get better. All right. So Barrios, 4 and 3 with a 2.85 Burns. So do we go under? It's 7.5. We look at Toronto, kind of an under team. We look at Baltimore, pretty good bullpen. I don't know. Baltimore scores a lot of runs. Barrios against Burns is break even. So we're going to have to go Baltimore. And we're going to have to go under, but I don't like the under, 7.5. Miami gets Detroit. Sixto Sanchez, 0-1 with the 7.50 against Matt Manning. 0-1 with the 4.24, two pigs. Miami is 2.28 average with a 5 ERA. And then Detroit with a 3.24 ERA and a 2.24 average. I noticed they got a few more hitters, but they still have 4 or 5 guys that can't hit their weight. I got to go over here. I don't love it. Detroit over, 9. Well, Sixto Sanchez is 7.50 ERA, and this Matt Manning's 4.24. I love how they try to sell Matt Manning that he's good. Okay, let's see. Oh, he's 0-1 with the 4.24. Oh, what part of this is he's good? Well, he was a high draft pick from El Avila. Yeah, okay. We know he knows what he's talking about. So I don't love this one, over 9. I'm a little bit too much drawn into the 7.50 ERA. And then Miami's 5.12 ERA. So the Tigers should get some runs. Granted, they're at home. It's a big ballpark. There's not a lot of scoring. Miami can't pitch. So do we take Detroit? I can't trust the pitcher. Sixto Sanchez, I'm definitely not trusting. So Manning could win, but I can't trust him. All right, Tampa Bay, Boston. We got Zach Eflin, 2-4 at the 3.75 for Tampa Bay. Cutter Crawford, my man, 2-1. I'm betting Boston, 5-star. You got to love Cutter Crawford. The Cutter, 2-1 with a 1.75 ERA. He's turning into, like, when I see him, I'm betting Boston. Philly and the Mets. Philly off of a loss. They got Christopher Sanchez, 2-3 with a 3.22 against Sean Manaea for the Jets. Jets, 2-1 with a 3.31. Philly's a small favorite at 105. Actually, nobody's favorite. It's 105. Over under a 7. This is a toss-up. Let's go to the bullpen in that. We got Philly. Good bullpen, and they can hit, and the Bobbies decent bullpen, and they can't hit as much. Let's go over 7. It's just so low. Philly over 7. Not a bet, just that. The Cubbies in Atlanta. Shoto and Magaga, 5-0 with a 108 against Ronaldo Lopez, 2-0 with a 153. We're going under here. Cubbies under 8, and this is going to be a 5-unit. I mean, that's what I look at. A 108 against the 153. Figure they go 5-6 innings. Hey, Greg and John. I'm curious if Bobby's going to join us. Last time I did a night show, he joined us. All right, so get into that one. The Cubs, Atlanta. I really like the under. Shoto Imagna, much like Uglia Buglia, 5-0 with a 108. So we would take Chicago, but Lopez for Atlanta is 2-1 with a 153. So they can't. So they should keep it under. But the whole key is Uglia Buglia with the 5-0 with the 108. But who did he face? Has he done this to Atlanta, right? How does he pitch Atlanta is really the question. Bobby is off for the season until football. Well, I don't know. You should be typing in about brics tomorrow. He's been waiting on that silver. Washington and the Cup and the White Sox. Trevor Williams, 4-0 with a 196 for Washington, 2-3 with a 4-2. Here's our 10 unit. We're going to play Washington for 10 units. Now we know the White Sox suck. Washington's 19-20. I got a pitcher 4-0 with a 196 against Fluxon, a 2-3 with a 4.29, and the White Sox can't hit. Should be a shutout. I'm going to go Washington instead of the under. The Pirates in Milwaukee, or as I like to say, the Steelers against the Packers. This is a true Super Bowl game. Milwaukee's a 145, 8.5. Mitch Keller, 3-3, 4.41. Colin Ray, 3-0 with a 3.29. Not loving it. Do these teams hit or not? Milwaukee, 4.01 ERA, 2.54. So Milwaukee's pretty good as an over. Pittsburgh has been hitting the ball lately. I'm going to go over 8.5 based on what they're doing lately. But I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it for anything. So I got 3 plays. Boston, the Cubbies under 8, and Washington. So Boston and the Cubbies are 5-star, and Washington's the 10-star. Boston's on at like 7, so you got a half hour. If you missed the video, there's nothing I can do. I couldn't. My back was. I don't know what I did to my back, but it's starting to settle down now. But I was in a lot of pain in the pool, and it didn't help. So Cleveland, Texas. Tanner Bibby for Cleveland, 2-1 with the 4.91 against Michael Lorenzen, 2-2 with the 4.66. So let's go over with Cleveland. Over 9, but just a regular, nothing major. Oakland and Houston. Houston's a 185, 8.5. Ross Stripling for Oakland, 106 with a 5.14 against Spencer Spaghetti, 0-4 with an 8.44. All right, we're going Houston over 8.5, and that's going to be for 5 stars. The Spencer Spaghetti with an 8.44 ERA, what the hell are they? Why do they keep pitching this guy? And Verlander's back, so it doesn't make any sense. Did you like Verlander yesterday, Greg or John? St. Louis, 115, 8.5. Matthew Liberatore, 1-1, 3.54. Jose Siriano, 1-4 with the 4.32 for California. St. Louis is pretty bad. California is not much better. I don't think either team hits. St. Louis, 214 batting average, and California with a 241. I'm not playing this game. Let's see how this series goes. KC and Seattle. KC pretty good. Seattle's been lighting it up a little bit lately. Seattle's a 150 favorite at home, over under a 7. Brady Singer, 3-1 with a 2.36 for KC. General Kirby, George Kirby from The Matrix, 3-3 with a 4.15. The Arnold Schwarzenegger Matrix movie. I'm going to take KC. Singer with the 2.36 ERA. Colorado, San Diego. San Diego's been playing good. They beat the Dodgers a few games. They're a big favorite, 2.25. Dakota Fanning, 0-6 with the 6.35. Randy Vasquez, 0-1 with the 4.50. We're going to have to go over. SD over 8. Cincinnati, Arizona. This is now we're at the 10 o'clock games. Arizona is minus 168.5. We got Graham Ashcraft, who sucks. 3-2 with a 3.86 against Jordan Montgomery, 2-2. So we're going to go over here. Arizona over 8.5. I'm not betting it. Cincinnati tends to not hit very well. And the Dodgers and the 49ers are playing in Candlestick. Dodgers are, of course, a 210 favorite. They're always a 210 favorite, 7.5. Yokoshima Yamamoto, 4-1 with the 2.79 against Jordan Hicks, 3-1 with the 2.30. We're going under. Let's go Frisco under 7.5. Now we're only going to have 4 plays. So let's go through it again. You have a very short time. Baltimore under 7.5. Detroit over 9 are the 6:45 games. The 7 o'clock, we're taking Boston for 5 units. Philly over 7. And then we get into a little later, the Cubbies under 8. Washington, Milwaukee over 8.5. Cleveland over 9. Houston. What the hell? I got 8.5. 8.5 what? Am I going over or under? We're going over. Kind of helps if I put the O or the U in. KC, San Diego over 8. Arizona over 8.5. San Francisco under 7.5. My plays are Boston 5 units. The Cubs under 8, 5 units. Washington 10 units. Houston over 8.5 is 5 units. So there's four plays. Plus the biggest play of the day, take Oklahoma in the NBA plus 1.5. That's as close to a lock as I can get in an NBA game right now. Let's call this. Let's call it 10 units. In Cleveland plus 12.5. We're not gonna bet it, but I love Cleveland plus 12.5. Love Oklahoma 1.5. That's a W. I can tell right now. There's no way that they're not going to win by 25 points. You can take that to the bank, McMahon. Even Jesse the Body likes that one. That's your basketball. That's your baseball. Jared Goff signs for 4 years. Well, we'll be betting against the Lions for the next 4 years. And the funny part is, well, how about Herndon Hooker? Who's better than Goff? You're not even giving that guy a try. What are you doing? What happens next year if you can get Cam Rising? You don't want Goff. So interesting that they actually signed the guy for 4 years. The Rams don't want anything to do with the guy. I think he stinks. He's good until the pressure's on, and then he disappears. He'll never win you a big game. Look at the Baltimore game. Did he realize the game was on Sunday in Baltimore? They lost, 34-3? What happened? Where did he go? The championship game, they're up 24-7. Where did he go the whole second half? He didn't show up. He kept going for 4th downs and missing them. Well, that's when we need you. Joe Montana scores against Cincy to win the Super Bowl. That's when you needed him. And he comes through. That's what I'm saying. With Goff, nowhere to be seen. We call him a loser. Okay, so go watch him, Greg John. What the fuck do you want? Cam Rising is, but doesn't see him as a big-time starter in the NFL. Who is this guy? Why do you quote this guy? This guy on YouTube. I'm not interested in this guy on YouTube. I'm not interested in the bullshit. I'm not interested in other people's opinions. We're stoic. We have our own opinions, and that's all we care about. And that's the bottom line. As Stone Cold has said so, I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately. I don't care. I don't want to see Coach Ed. I don't want to see other people's names on here. Got it? If you do, you won't be texting me anymore. I don't want anybody to quote him. I don't want to see him. I don't want anybody to go to him. We don't know who the hell he is. Do not put names down on my thing. Thank you. Take it away. We don't know who he is. He could be like these idiots with gold that don't know that inflation they think is prices. I don't want you to know that because it's wrong. I don't want anything wrong. I'm telling you about Cam Rising, so I don't want to hear other people's opinions on Cam Rising. I watch him. I know the guy's great. End of the story. Thank you. All right, so got baseball. Talk basketball, talk gold. As I said, I was getting off a wall and my back just crushed. I don't know what it is. Right, if you know he's great, then why do you bring that shit up? What's your point? I give you the opinion, and that's it. So I don't need somebody else to say this guy's good or this guy, like Michael Penix. Was I correct on that? They take Penix because he's the best quarterback in the draft. Then what do? Did they trade Cousins to Dallas yet? Or you said they're going to do that? Well, who nailed it? I did. I told you Penix is better than Cousins. He goes to Dallas, and that's it. So I already told you all that. I told you he's better, that he should start. Did they make the trade? I don't know. I told you Parsons sucks. Or not Parsons. I told you, whatchamacallit, Dak Prescott sucks. Dallas is going to get rid of him for Kirk Cousins, who ain't much better. Yeah, they just don't know what they're doing, these guys. All right. So we got brics tomorrow. It'll be on while we sleep. One thing I know, it's 7 hours ahead. So when I go to bed at midnight, it's it's 7 in the morning there. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So all right. I was watching this, and there was something I wanted you to see, and it's at the 8-minute mark. I found
hypersonic missile. I just left basically.
Okay.
Then we heard there was 30 missiles fired in 2 minutes. That's a pretty.
Let's watch about 2 minutes of
I'm getting the
this.
feeling that the more ridiculous the narrative, the more tragic and horrible situation for the Ukrainians on the ground and for Zelensky in Kiev. Would you agree?
Well, it goes to Kiev clearly back in the air, flying everywhere and shooting everything down. There's no doubt about it. The narrative is losing its strength, its force. There's no question. I get things all the time from Germany, Austria, France, Great Britain. People are finally beginning to say, look, this is ridiculous. This is taking us nowhere. I think, sadly, there are positive features to NATO, one of which is to comparative universal consensus that there should be no more war in Europe, hence we should have NATO. That was a positive thing. But I now see that there's a dramatic loss of faith in that notion. So I think we're on the threshold of a new world, frankly. And remember that next June, or actually, what am I saying, next June, next month, we have the St. Petersburg Forum. And 81 nations are going to join the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They're all going to join and begin seriously examining the alternative to the dollar-dominated financial system, which looks like some sort of currency or basket of currencies,
gold,
all of which are backed by gold.
Of course.
Now, this de-dollarization is very serious, and the United States government knows it, but no one in Washington will mention it. So there are really two things happening right now. You have a financial war between the United States, its allies, and Russia, China, and the other 81, 82, 83 countries out there who want to de-dollarize. Then you also have the war on the ground in Ukraine. We appear to be losing both. And that's beginning to sink in. But again, the American people, and you know this from your experience here, very few Americans pay very much attention to anything beyond their borders. That's the bad news.
I do.
And the bad news, in addition to that, is that as a result, they tend to abdicate responsibility for the conduct of their affairs to a small minority of people in Washington who've been able to get away literally with murder. Well, I think that's going to continue until we have a real serious crisis that no one can avoid talking about. I think that's going to have a lot to do with the banking system, our financial system, the international financial system. Those things are closing in on us. As far as the military is concerned, there's a sudden awakening that we can't recruit. We have this very unhappy military establishment filled with people that are not terribly interested in becoming woke, who recognize that that's essentially the death of discipline, the death of effectiveness. All of these things seem to be coming together in sort of a perfect storm, if you will. And all of that is going to undermine what we've been undertaking in Ukraine. And I think to some extent, President Putin and his advisors know this. And I think that's why they've tread cautiously. Because if I look back on the last year plus, if there's one thing we can say about the Russian approach to this whole business, it's extreme caution. There has been a desire to avoid giving us an excuse to intervene militarily. I think that's worked well, but now I think it's dawning on people in Washington that even if we wanted to intervene in it, it wouldn't go well for us. And so they're sobering up. And again, that explains this new focus on China. Let's start talking about China. Let's talk less about Ukraine. And in the meantime, what do we do about the debt? What do we do about financing? And 120% debt to GDP ratio. Those things are beginning to take precedence. So it looks like Putin's caution has paid off in that regard. But as far as Warsaw is concerned, if I lived on the border right now with Ukraine and Russia, I would be keenly interested in arranging negotiations as soon as possible. Because the alternative, and let's be frank about this is very important for people to understand. The Russians, if they're not given some sort of security guarantee of neutrality for Ukraine in some fashion, they'll go all the way to the Polish border before they stop. I mean, what choice do they have? I mean, if they're constantly confronted with nothing but hostility and attacks and promises of future attacks, there's no incentive to do anything else. So I think people have begun to understand that. But the Russians, of course, as you know and I know, are not interested in governing Ukraine. They don't want to govern Western Ukraine, for God's sakes.
There you go. So a little bit of what's going on. So 81 countries want to join BRICS. So do you think, where's my dollar? So do you think this has any value? If 81 countries don't want to use it, so let's get fundamental in economics. This only has a value if somebody wants it. This only has a value if somebody wants the Mahomes card. If you want it, okay, we'll agree on a price, free market, and we'll say $1,000 because there's only 50 of them, and it has a value because somebody's willing to buy it from me. If I try to sell it and nobody wants to buy it, it has no value. And that's the bottom line. So basically, what are we hearing? 81 countries want to join BRICS in June in St. Petersburg. I should go there to meet Daria. That's the real point, right? 81 countries want to join because they don't want to deal with the dollar. How much gold do you think they need to have gold-backed currency for 81 countries? Ergo, how much is this sucker going to be worth when we get down to, oh, wait, we need more gold for 81 countries? Gold's at $23.38 today, down like $10. It's ridiculous. That's why I specify that's paper gold. That's derivatives. That's JP Morgan. Their head so far up their ass, they don't know what they're doing. How is there no demand for gold when every central bank in the world but the U.S. is buying gold for BRICS? Because they're going to need gold to buy the BRICS currency because it's going to be a gold-backed currency that they're going to need gold for it. Who do you like in the NBA playoffs? I already gave you those picks. I just told you the big 10-star pick was Oklahoma City tonight. So gold's going to be flying because what's your alternative? You have the dollar. That's it. The yuan's a terrible currency. The ruble is a terrible currency. The India is a terrible currency. The euro is a terrible currency. Guess what? All these currencies are worthless. They're all toilet paper because they're not backed by anything. So they've been printed over and over and over. British pound, Swiss franc, you name it. Look at the Zimbabwe. Look at Brazil and Argentina and Venezuela. None of their currencies are worth anything. So keep that in mind, that the only lifeboat out there is gold. Keep that in mind. Well, gold should be going much higher. See, it's really not the right price. It's because of the derivatives. In other words, in a free market, so this would be bought and then it would be sold and the prices would be the prices. So if I sell this for 1,000 and then Bobby gets it and then he only gets 900 and then he sells it to Luke and Luke gets 950, well, that's the price. You can see the price moves a little bit, but it's based on the market, right? Luke could only get 950 for it. That's the price. So it did go down 50. However, in gold, the gold price goes down not because of somebody selling the gold price. Nobody is selling the gold price. It's these morons doing derivatives to keep the price down. They're shorting gold like a bunch of idiots because they don't know what they're doing. They think the dollar, when the dollar's strong, I'm gonna buy gold, or I'm gonna sell gold because the dollar's strong. The dollar ain't strong. They've printed 21 trillion plus 130 trillion overseas. They printed 150 trillion dollars. How the fuck is the dollar strong? You can't print that many and tell me it's strong. It's weak. You can't print that many. It's gone. It doesn't matter if it's the reserve currency. It has nothing to do with it. So that's really what the point is. Reserve currency or not, you can't print that much dollars and have a value. People are starting to see it. They don't want to get sanctioned like it would happen to Russia. China's been buying it through the roof. So is India. So is Russia. So is Saudi Arabia. All these countries are buying. So there's huge demand for it. Now I'm going to show you this one here on gold. This is a short one. Our favorite subject.
When you think about safe investment, what options come to your mind? Real estate? Gold? Even the real estate sector sometimes becomes turbulent. So, in that case, gold is often considered the safest investment. And China probably has taken this more seriously. Yes, China is buying gold like never before. Losing faith in traditional investments like stocks and real estate, Chinese consumers are turning to gold. And this has pushed gold prices to a record high.
Okay, no, it hasn't. That's not what moves the price, but that's demand. And it's telling you the demand for gold. They're looking at the yuan, which is worthless, and they're going, where do we put our money? And they go, well, we can't put it in real estate because that just crashed. We can't put it in the stocks because the Chinese stock market's more manipulated than the U.S. stock market. Madoff must have went there first. So the only alternative is gold. And everybody's dumping the dollar and putting it into gold because they're all starting to realize the dollar has no value. So the demand for gold is strong, and there's really no other place to put it. Now, as the rest of the world starts understanding that, Europe, Africa, Zimbabwe just came out with a gold-backed currency. So as Germany and France and Italy start realizing the euro is gone and we need to buy gold, we can't buy stocks, we can't buy real estate, and they're in the U.S. stock market and real estate market. So as they realize that, they get out of the dollar and they get out of the stock market. That's why the market's going to collapse, because they're going to realize they're going, our only spot is to go into gold. China and India has already realized it. We're just waiting for the Europes to realize it. And we're sitting there going, I already bought it. I'm 5 steps ahead. I already bought. I'm 5 steps ahead. I'm not waiting until the ship's underwater. We're going down. I better get off the boat. I'm already off the boat. I'm just sitting there going, well, when it goes up, it's fine. So I'm just sitting there waiting for the price to go to the moon. Now, it's going to go up slowly, but as more people see that it's the only out, like China and India and Russia see it, the rest haven't. China's got 60,000 tons of it. There's only 250,000 tons. All the central banks are buying it. So as everybody's realizing, there won't be any more gold to buy. So then it's going to be like the secondary market at the Super Bowl. So they come out, whoever's hosting, and they say, okay, we're going to sell tickets. And you go into the box office and you can get 2 tickets. All right, it costs you $200. But then it goes secondary market, and all of a sudden it's $2,000 for the 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. The secondary market, and that's where we're at with gold. The first market's pretty much bought. And now here comes the secondary market, who are realizing, I got to get out of the dollar. I got to get out of the stocks. I got to get out of the house. Got to get out of US dollars. And here comes the secondary market forcing the prices up. That's what me and you are waiting for. We are sitting there going, well, I know the demand. I just showed you the demand's huge. And gold is something that is not US, it's the world. China, India, Russia, Saudi Arabia, they're all buying it. Zimbabwe, the rest of Africa. So it is not only in the U.S. and the U.S. can control it with J.P. Morgan. That's the mistake they're making. They think it's a U.S. only thing, and it's not. It's a world thing. And when the world starts waking up, like China, India, and I'm sure these other countries, and all the central banks, Poland and Czechoslovakia and Romania, they're all buying gold. So as everybody starts waking up, in these countries, 81 of them that don't want the US dollar, so we're going to be holding toilet paper, and everybody's going to realize there is no safety in dollars. We have to go to gold and silver for safety, and that's the point that, boom. So that's what we're at. All right, back to
50% increase since late 2022. That means in 1.5 years, gold prices have risen 50%. What you are seeing on your screens are good beans.
from Money Heist.
These are favorite among Gen Zs in
The
China.
professor.
These gold beans weigh 1 gram. Chinese youngsters find it a handy option for investment. Besides consumers, the major buyer of gold in China is the country's central bank. The People's Bank of China has been adding its gold reserves for 17 months straight. In fact, last year, the bank bought more gold than any other central bank in the world. It added more reserves than it had in nearly 50 years. But why is China buying so much gold? Beijing wants to diversify its reserve funds and reduce its dependence on the US dollar. In the past, when China increased its gold holdings, it bought it using its home currency yuan. But this time, China's central bank is using foreign currencies to buy gold. In fact, many countries, including China, started buying more gold after the US imposed sanctions on Russia. These sanctions, triggered by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, included freezing Russian reserve dollars and restricting crucial commodity trades such as crude oil. Limitations placed on Russia's reserve access by Western financial entities eroded confidence in these institutions. So central banks worldwide started viewing gold as a strategic asset for diversification and risk management. Even with all this buying, gold still makes up a small portion, around 4.6% of China's reserves. Interestingly, India keeps a much bigger share of its reserves in gold, almost double what China has. USA has the highest gold reserves.
That's
followed
not
by
true. We
Germany,
don't have any.
Italy, France, and Russia. But China is on an aggressive buying spree. This surge in gold buying by both Chinese consumers and its central bank has caught the eye of speculators in Shanghai. They are betting that the gold buying trend will keep going, pushing prices.
Okay, the U.S. has no gold. It shows the 8,000 tons, but they don't prove it. Let me see it. Oh, Howard, you have gold. Let me see it. Oh, okay, here you go. I got more gold than the Federal Reserve of the U.S. This is a quarter ounce. I got way more. So the U.S. has the reserves, and those are not official numbers. Those are bullshit numbers. We know China's got 60,000 tons and Russia's got 30,000 tons. God knows what India has and Saudi Arabia. They have much more. We have no gold. Now, to answer your question, America is bad. America's very strange. Um, the euro is gone. Well, all the dollars are gone. They're printed too much. America is bad. Let's head to Russia and get all the women. You're joking. I'm not. And then you remove the Hillary Clinton. I doubt she has gold. She's not smart enough. She would think I'll have stocks, and therefore I don't need gold. And this is the problem with the rich people, right? Rich people go and they say, I don't need gold. I got $1 million in the bank account. I got to get some water. Just a second. $1 million in the bank account. Be right back. $1 million in the bank account. So Hillary Clinton, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, I got $1 million in my bank account. Well, in their case, they got $1 billion in their bank. Why do I need gold for? Because they can't see. See, they don't see that this has no value anymore, or the euro, or the British pound, or Swiss franc. You can't print too much; it loses value because nobody wants it because it's been printed so much, right? So if you print it too much, it loses its value. But the rich guy doesn't understand that. So Warren Buffett says, I got $2 billion. What do I need gold for? Because they can't see that the money's worthless and going to zero. They don't understand what happened in the Roman Empire and the British Empire and the France Empire and the Spain Empire and the Amsterdam Empire. They don't understand it. They can't. It's happened 5 times where countries had the reserve and they printed too much money and it went worthless. So it's not like it's never happened before. It's happened 5 times, especially to the Romans. And everybody in Rome lost their ass. So with that said, if that's the case, why do they keep the money? See, Warren Buffett has nothing to lose if he would buy $1 billion worth of gold. Why doesn't he? Because he's an idiot, because he doesn't understand gold's money. He doesn't understand if you print the money, it goes to zero. This is the fundamental problem that most people don't understand. The MMT Keynesians say, oh, you just keep printing money. You have a debt, just keep printing. Print the debt away, print $35 trillion. Pay for the debt with that. If you do, the money's worthless. You can't print $35 trillion on top of the other $150 trillion you have. The new money printed is worthless. So they don't understand the concept. So they hold on to their dollars and they think, well, let's say you're a normal guy, I got $1 million in the bank. I don't need gold. How can the dollar go to zero? Right? That's the fundamental flaw that most people have that do not understand Austrian economics, do not understand the dollar. You can make it worthless if you print too much. Just like if you eat too much cake, you're going to gain weight and get sick. I guarantee you, if you eat a cake every day, you're going to gain weight. Well, if you print money and print and print, it's going to be worthless. I guarantee you that. Yet, they don't get that concept. Oh, how can it go to zero? I'll go ask the Romans. Go ask the British, ask the French. How did it go to zero, fellas? Because they printed the shit out of it. And once you don't have it backed by gold, it's done. All right, what's Greg and John up to here? America's not bad, they're stupid, and then they're very corrupt. Thank you, Greg and John. Your brother is in Bitcoin. I gotta read this. My brother is in Bitcoin, and my father was into stocks and bonds. Okay, do you have a question? What's your question? Do you not listen to the other videos that I do about Bitcoin and stocks? Apparently not. So they'll both be penniless. Now I can say it 1,000 times. Apparently I need to. This is the Titanic. Anything in the dollar will go under the ocean. That's stocks, that's bonds, that's money in the bank, real estate trust, the value of your home, and Bitcoin. Anything not backed by gold sinks. It's as simple as that. Lawrence and Linda Kozowski, welcome to the class. I'm back to see the brics announcement. I've been buying gold at Costco. Brics is tomorrow. They are coming out with gold-backed currency. It's already been announced. It'll just be formally announced at the meeting in Kazan, Russia. So when you wake up, it'll already be announced. And then it's just a question, when do they roll it out? After what's happening with this fake war in the Ukraine, Putin and China both are like buying as much gold as they possibly can. And now 81 countries, which I showed earlier in the show, want to join BRICS, which means they don't want to be in the dollar. 81 countries. A lot of Africa, a lot of Asia, a lot of South America. I don't know the rest of them, but as long as China and Russia are in it, look for gold to explode. Look for this to go out. This won't have a value soon. Now, don't be worried. They'll switch it to gold. So if you have this, you're protected. The Costco gold, I was reading up on that. So just to warn you guys, people are like trying to make profit on it in a month. That's not how you do gold. Gold is not. The first reason is this lost its value, I'm getting out. That's the first thing you're doing. So you're buying gold. I prefer this because this is a quarter ounce. I might not need to sell an ounce. But the Costco gold, it's Swiss bars. It's a 1 ounce. The only problem is if you don't need to sell the whole ounce, especially at these prices, you don't want to be selling an ounce at this price unless you have to pay bills or food or something. You're not trying to sell your gold at this point. So people are actually buying it at Costco and then turning around and trying to sell it and wondering why they're not making a profit. Well, because you got to pay a premium. So if it's 2,300, you're going to pay 2,400 for it. But the gold spot right now is 23.38 or so. So you have to buy it. So you're only going to sell it for the spot. The premium is what the dealers make on the gold. Well, gold it's an asset. It is money. Gold gold's the perfect. It's not an investment, but it kind of is. It's the perfect. You can't lose on it. It's like betting the Phillies and betting on Verlander. You can't lose on it. So gold, but you can't. All right, I bought it. I bought this for $550. Right, nice US. I can sell it for $650. That's the spot. I paid $550. I can make $100. Sounds good. But what are they going to pay me in? They're going to give me 650 of these. Of which case, now what do I do with it? Well, if the spot's, let's say 650, I now have 650 of this that I don't want because I want to get out of the dollar. That's the whole point. So to get out of the dollar, I now need to buy gold again. So I bought it for $550. I sold it for $650. It's $650 now, but I can't buy it for $650. I'm going to buy it for, let's say, $7.25. If I go to my cooling store, maybe it's $7.25, maybe a little less. I'll tell you exactly what it is. So if you go to eBay, eBay gives you the real price that you would pay in the market. So a tenth of an ounce would be 270, 262 for Maple Leaf. They're pretty close. So here's quarter ounces, Maple Leaf and Krugerrand, 636. That's about what I would get for this. Well, this is an Eagle. And 72,000 for the Mantle card. Let's see. The ounces are about 24.36, 24.15, and 24.39. So the U.S. gets a little bit more than the Maple Leaf. Again, it's at 23.38. So you see you're paying about $80 over spot. And let's see, do I get a quarter ounce Eagle? Yeah, here it is. So quarter ounce Eagle, $658. So I could sell this. I could sell this for $658 on eBay. I paid $550. The problem is, if I want to buy it, I don't know what spot is on this. So if I get 658, spots 1338 divided by 4, or 23 divided by 4 is for 2,400, 600. So it's a little less than 6. Yeah, so I'd be paying about 700 for this. I'm not going to, but I got to buy it back. See, that's where gold's different than stocks. I have to get out of this, so I have to go buy this back, and it's going to cost me. So there's no benefit in profit taking because of the premium. So you're going to pay that extra 100 to buy it, and you have to buy it because you can't be stuck in this, because that's the whole game, to get the fuck out of this, which is what the China and Russia, which is what I was just showing you, is what they're trying to do, right? They're all getting out of the dollar. So let's finish this up.
Will keep going, pushing prices even higher. Stocking up of gold by central banks has benefits such as diversification of reserve funds, hedging against economic tumult or inflation by investing into this safe haven asset, and reducing dependence on the US dollar. For China, there are clear strategic advantages too of diversifying out of US assets, given the rising geopolitical tensions over Taiwan and Beijing's growing assertiveness in the South China Sea. So the switch to gold has helped China build up a war chest, safe from American sanctions. Russia has already taken this step, and others may follow. What's more, China's gold buying spree could be the straw that breaks the dollar's back. For decades, we've been hearing predictions on the imminent demise of US dollar's special status as the world's international reserve currency. The gold rush in emerging economies like China could give further momentum to this race to de-dollarization. The US dollar, the world's reserve currency, could eventually be knocked off its top spot. It seems to be a question of when, not if.
Exactly. So you can see they want to buy it. You have demand, price goes up. You're de-dollarizing because nobody trusts the dollar. I mean, that's plain and simple. The inflation is, you printed the dollar to death. It has no value. The fact it's a reserve currency doesn't give a shit. It doesn't mean anything. It's an FX cross, which means if I am Switzerland, if I'm Egon and I'm going to Germany, I have to sell my Swiss francs to buy dollars and sell the dollars to buy euros. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Anybody, why they're agreeing to this is beyond me. Anyway, so with that said, that is why we buy gold, because we're seeing what's happening and we're just coming along for the ride. We see all these other people and they're all buying the gold and they're pushing the price up. That's why it's at 23.38. It should be 3,000 by now, but that should happen soon this week. All the BRICS characters should be announcing, hey, we're going to a gold standard, and that's what would happen. Who is this girl? She is cute. I have no idea. Some girl on DD India, some Indian girl. Well, that's what they do on the news. Here's the article. It's called "Why China Buying So Much Gold." So you can go to it. It's on YouTube. DD India, and then this one is Forbes, which I watched, and then this was Skills Stream, Douglas McGregor, where he's saying 81 countries want to join BRICS. So don't be surprised that the dollar goes out. I mean, you're seeing all the warning signs. China's buying gold to diversify. What else do you need? Do you not believe it? I mean, what? And you can't believe the U.S. has any gold. So basically, the dollar collapses. Here comes gold. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take. The dollar might not collapse so much in the U.S. as in these other countries just won't use it. So they'll just keep, screwing with you, saying, oh, the dollar's fine, the dollar's fine, the dollar's fine, because JP Morgan wants to keep printing it, and they don't want to lose the value of it. So that's what you'll see. I mean, it's like Venezuela. They're still printing dollars. Zimbabwe still had dollars, even though they weren't worth shit. They still were using the Zimbabwe dollar until they finally went to the ZiG, which was a gold-backed Zimbabwe. And I don't think, they're all worried, are they going to overprint it? I don't think you go on a gold standard and you want to overprint it, because it has great value because it's backed by the gold itself. So you're richer. So you got to realize, you could count how many people like me there are in one hand who actually understand that inflation is printing the dollar, that the dollar is going out because you've overprinted it, not because of prices. And therefore, most of these people who have a lot of money are a bunch of crooks anyway, don't understand. You think Zuckerberg is an IT guy, he's a programmer. Bill Gates, these guys don't know anything about finance and economics. So their money is paper. They just own stock, and it's got a high value. That's where they got their money from. Well, when their companies go to zero and they don't have any more money, I'm not going to feel too sorry for them, as they sold us all down the river, selling all our information. But they're not smart enough to buy gold, right? They're not smart enough. They don't know. It's not complex. It's only complex if you don't know it. Like that Robert Kiyosaki guy, who's rich man, poor man, because he's saying, well, the poor man don't know to buy gold. The rich man buys real money, which is gold. Oh, really? Oh my God. You wrote a book on that. It took me 10 seconds to teach you guys that. He writes a book on it. Well, big fucking deal. They print the dollar, it goes to zero. You can't print gold, and it never loses its value. However, it is price fixed by JP Morgan, which is ending very soon. Nobody's going to want it because it's printed to death, the dollar. So everybody's going to want gold anyway. So big fucking deal. I don't like how condescending the guy is. Oh, I'm so smart. I bought gold. Yeah, okay, great. See you later. We don't care. But that's him. He's a very egotistical man, like half these guys are, and I don't like it. Peter Schiff's the same way. So that's why I tell you not to listen to him. The dollar will go out soon. Yeah, well, we don't know exactly. The U.S. is going to fight to keep the dollar. But what ends up happening is it's like the Roman Empire. It didn't go out right away, but there was no gold and silver. You took the gold and silver out, so nobody wanted it. There was no value in it. And then you go to the French. They had the reserve currency. See, these countries with the boats back in the 16th, 17th, 18th century had the boats. So they were able to trade and they were able to make a lot of money. The Dutch East India Company. The England was an island. They had to have boats. So everybody with the boats, there's no planes, there's no cars. So they would trade, and that's how they got all their money. And they got their gold. And that's what they did. So they had the gold, which kept, so they were the reserve currencies, I guess. And, but they printed too much. They got off the gold. It's always about war. They always want to go to war. And you can't print. If you're on the gold standard, you can only have as much dollars as you have gold. So if I'm on the gold standard and I got a quarter ounce of gold and it's worth $700 or $675, I can only have $675 backed by gold. I can't print $1,000 because if this is backing it, this is only $675. So the idea is you go to the bank, say, I want gold for my dollar, and I go, here you go. But if it's more than 675, I can't help you. So you can't print more. And for some reason, these countries all want to go to war, and they all go to war. And I think we're all doomed to war. I don't know why. What are you doing? But they all go to war. I guess it's like football. You all play football, and you just end up going bankrupt. World War I bankrupted Britain. I think the Revolutionary War bankrupted France. The U.S. was on the Adam Smith, the Austrian economics, and that's why the globe never expanded as much under us. And from 1879 to 1913, the gold standard, and then 1944 to 1971, the gold standard. And that increased everybody's wealth. The computers came in and TVs and computers, phones, everything came in because you had everything was growing. You had money, you can invest and develop things. That's why it's good to be on the gold standard, because you can't fuck the money up. Yeah, here come the Keynesians. Well, you know what? You can keep printing, you can run up the debt and keep printing, and it's okay. It never worked before. Why would it work now? It won't work now. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Luke, how the hell are you? How much is the gold at Costco? They're 1 ounce silver. They're 1 ounce gold bars from Switzerland, Credit Suisse. The 1 ounce bar. They don't have coins there, and they only have the 1 ounce. And it would probably be the same as my gold store. So if it's $23.38 now, it's probably $24.30 or something like that. It's going to be 100 over spot, I guarantee it. And but you can't sell them there. They only want to sell you to them, but you can't go back in and say, I want to sell my gold. You got to go to my coin guy, and he's going to give you a spot. Maybe not, because the coin, it's much easier for me to go to my gold guy with this than it is with the bar, because more people, it's in more demand to get the coin than it is to get the bar, especially a US coin versus a Swiss bar. So that's where a little supply and demand comes into play. So the Swiss bar probably gets, it's an ounce. So if it's $24.50, I was showing you for the dollar US, it's probably $2,400 for the swish bar because there's less demand for it. So it's still free market to buy it. Good to see you, Luke. Heard yesterday at BRICS meeting in October they will announce a currency. No. That's last year. They're announcing it tomorrow. Also heard the dollar will be around for another 5 years. Well, it might be in the U.S., but nobody else is going to use it. As I showed earlier, there's 81 countries that want to join BRICS now, according to the Colonel. Who the fuck knows? Well, that's true, but basically, no. The meeting tomorrow will announce the gold-backed currency. That's in Kazan. You're talking last year's October meeting, and then there's a meeting in June in St. Petersburg for BRICS, where 81 countries want to join. So now nobody wants the dollar. Well, what happens if there's no demand? Price goes to zero. So I don't know how anybody can say the dollar is going to be around 5 years when it has no value now. You can't have a $35 trillion debt. You can't have printed 21 trillion plus the 130 overseas and act like, no, not a problem. We'll just keep using it. No, because when nobody wants it, we do T-bills now. Nobody wants it, right? We can't sell it. We can't sell it to China. We can't sell it to Japan. We can't sell them to Germany. Nobody wants it. So we're actually buying our own T-bills. And the banks are probably going to force you to buy a T-bill. That's why you don't have money in the banks anymore. I hope you're all out of those. I know I don't have any money in. And that's the point. So, I mean, I'm fine, but I'd much rather have the gold-backed BRICS currency than the U.S. dollar. I mean, you know, this is my thought of the U.S. dollar. This is what I think of the U.S. dollar. Lawrence and Linda, wifey and I paid $100 over spot. It was about $2,400. Yeah, that's normal. If I go to my coins, if I go to where I bought this and bought an ounce and spot's 23.38, I'm paying close to 24.30. If it's a maple leaf, see, here's where the Costco doesn't work. If I buy, so I showed you the maple leaf and the Cougaran, right? So if we look at, all right, let me get to it. All right, so you can see Maple Leafs 24.36, the Cougaran 24.15, and the Liberty 24.39. So the Eagles 24.39 and the Maple Leafs 24.36. This should be right there with it. All right. So that's this is eBay if you were selling it. So you could sell it for this price. So this is probably what you're paying at Costco. When I go to my guy's store, he's cheaper than this. He's always a little bit cheaper than eBay because eBay, you got to pay for the auction and the shipping. So his Maple Leaf might be 24.05 or something. And the dollar might be 24.30. He tends to be higher on the US because of the demand, but that's why I always buy Maple Leafs and Cougarans because I don't care. I'm buying an ounce of gold. At the end of the day, I got an ounce of gold. I don't give a shit what's on the front of it, what country it is. It's 1 ounce of gold. And it won't matter because it's a worldwide currency. It's all over the world, not just, I can go to Switzerland. They're going to take anything I want to bring them. They're not going to work. Oh, wait, this is US. I'm going to give you more. So that is probably what you're going to pay at Costco. The difference is you have to buy the Costco. So let's look at that. Let's go to Costco gold. Oh, it's under fine jewelry. I don't even know what you call it. They're not like showing it. Here it is. So this is sold out. This is the old price, 2013 from Canada. So it really doesn't help, but you can see this is Swiss, and it's a bullion. It's not a coin, right? It's a bar. It's not as popular. This price is obviously, well, this is an auction, right? Uh, do they have a buy it now? I wonder if that was secondhand. Okay, here we go. 25.69. Direct from Adden Coins. Same Swiss bar. 1 ounce gold bar, Swiss lady for 45th. So it's a little specialty, 45th anniversary. So not really at Costco. Here's a 1 ounce from the Scottsdale Mint, 24.42. So it's all roughly 100 over spot. Spot 23.38 now. But it's well, this is Scottsdale Mint, where this is Swiss. See, that says Swiss. And so you don't have the option of getting an American coin. You have to buy an ounce. Well, what I like is that I can come in, and I bought this for $5.50 a month ago. Is I don't carry 2,500 every time to go to the gold store, so I'll get this. It's only $5.50 at the time, so that's why I like the quarters and the tenths and the half ounces. Doesn't cost me 2,500 every time, and when I sell, I might not want to sell a whole ounce. I don't want to sell my babies. I might want to sell this and get $1,000 for it. So that's really what you're looking at. Is you get the option at the coin store. Again, you shouldn't pay tax and you shouldn't pay shipping. Well, that's why I go right to the store. But in Michigan, there's no sales tax. And like I said, I go there. When I was in Alabama, I was able to buy from my store because Alabama didn't have any gold stores. I couldn't believe it. They had two, but they weren't. They were just scams. So I stayed away. I called my guy. He shipped it out. He charged me a couple dollars shipping, and I'd get 20 silver, and I'd get an ounce, and I'd get a quarter ounce, and that was it. And so I was doing that, and it was easy. I just used my debit card and paid a few dollars for FedEx, and 2 days later, I had my gold. Fuck Alabama. So you got to be careful. State tax and stuff. Now I know in Germany you got to be careful. They want to charge you a VAT. I'm not sure if it's when you buy or when you sell. So be careful there. I tell Jenna in the Ukraine, do not sell it at a pawn store. They're not going to give you fair value. Try to find a gold store, or I don't know if it's a bank. I don't know what kind of store, but you want to get the true spot for it. So you got to be careful where you sell it and what they give, but most should give spot. But once it takes off, it really won't matter if you get 10,000 or 9,500. It's not going to matter to you. Right. You pay 100 over spot, but when you sell it at spot. And with a bar, you get less for the bar than you would for the coin. So just food for thought, but it's still good. You got an ounce of gold. Greg and John, the bar is ugly. The coin is very nice and looks great. Well, the bar's not. If you see the bar and it's gold, you don't really care. TK, you go to the coin store. Oh my God. Yes, Greg and John, I go to the coin store. We each bought 1 ounce a piece, so paid $4,800 in total for 1 ounce a piece. No, that's okay. So you paid $2,400. That's a good. It's $23.38, and you can see these are going for $24. And this is low. It's going to go up. Like people think, oh, it's going to go down because it went up so much. It hasn't gone up at all. It is still price fixed by JP Morgan. That's why I showed you this Chinese let's go back to China here. So real quick,
When you think about safe investment, what options come to your mind? Real estate? Gold? Even the real estate sector sometimes becomes turbulent. So, in that case, gold is often considered the safest investment. And China probably has taken this more seriously. Yes, China is buying gold like never before. Losing faith in traditional investments like stocks and real estate, Chinese consumers are turning to gold. And this has pushed gold prices to a record high. There is a nearly 50% increase since late 2022. That means in 1.5 years, gold prices have risen 50%.
that's not
What you are
true,
seeing
but
on your
close enough.
screens are gold beans. These are favorite among Gen Zs in China. These gold beans weigh 1 gram. Chinese youngsters find it a handy option for investment. Besides,
Well, it's 'cause that's all they can afford. 1 gram is not too much, but that's my point. The demand for gold is through the roof. That's just China. And as I said, gold is universal. It is not a US thing. It is China, it is India, it is Russia, it is Saudi Arabia, it's all the big boys, Zimbabwe, all of Africa now, Hong Kong, Singapore. It doesn't matter. It's not a US thing. So keep that in mind. So it's going to be lifted. It has not gone up 50%. What it was like 1700. So 50% would have been, let's say 1800 would have been 9. It would be 2700. It's going to get there. We're going to see 3000 soon. My guess is let's see what happens tomorrow. But that's where the summit is. And they already have announced it's a gold-backed currency. And believe me, Putin is kind of pissed about this whole war. And Xi from China is pretty pissed about the U.S. trying to say, oh, you can't do business with Russia. And they're both sick of the U.S. and all their bullshit with Janet Yellen, fucking idiot. So they're like looking to say, okay, we're going gold-backed currency. Saudi Arabia wants it for the gold for oil. So does Russia. And India is buying gold like it's, water. So the demand is huge and there's not a lot of it. It's only 250,000 tons that you can't print. That's why gold's gold. I cannot print this. This is it. All they can do, I can mint it, I can take it, and that's it. You can't do anything yet. You printed 21 trillion dollars, and there's 130 trillion outside the US with the FX exchange rates. So you've got 150 trillion dollars. You can't print it. This is why this has been around since the Romans. You can't print it. You can dig a little out of the ground, but how much is in the ground that you can dig out? So you can't dig it out. And you can't fake it. You can't just, we'll make coins. You can't make gold coins without the gold. My guy has a machine, so I know when I buy from my guy, it's fine. All I can say is be careful, but the only way, if it's counterfeit, you'll see it. Like you can see the color of this, right? That's the key. Look at the color of this. It's a nice gold. Sorry, I'm trying to get the light. But look at that. That's obviously gold. But if it's faded and it's a little bit like copper or brass, it probably is, and it probably isn't gold. And if it doesn't look it, don't buy it. And don't buy it from these Chinese guys who are on eBay trying to, I'll sell you this 2,400 ounce gold for 1,900. Why are you selling it? Nobody sells it at a discount. So if you're able to get an ounce of gold for 1,800, it's phony. Why would you? You don't have to. Every auction on eBay for a 1 ounce US gold is 2,400. Every one. So if you want to sell it, you're going to get more on eBay than you're going to get on going to the store because they're going to give you a spot. eBay is going to give you the premium. Just keep that in mind. So you're doing well, Lawrence and Linda. So just buy more. I mean, the goal you guys should have is to get out of this. As much as you can, get out of this, right? That's the key to it. You don't want to own this. You don't, because this is worthless, right? Let's go to the Roman empires. What happened? Oh, well, they fucked their money over with gold and silver. They took it all out of the coins. Or let's go to England and France. What happened? Well, they overprinted it. That was that's the Les Miserables, the French Revolution. They printed the money to zero. It's always printed to zero. And the fact you're the reserve currency or not doesn't mean you can't print it to zero, as the US is doing. So don't listen to the shit. It's not the CPI, has nothing to do with inflation. You can't measure inflation. All you can do is see how much money's being printed going, you printed 150 trillion, it's worthless. And then as China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, India, as nobody wants your T-bills or your dollars, then, it's got no value. Nobody wants it. And the 35 trillion in debt, would you want to lend money to the U.S.? How are you going to get paid back? They already owe 35 trillion. Where's your spot in line? Yeah, I bought a $2,000 savings bond. I'm sure I'll get paid back. I mean, you got to be kidding. There's no way you're getting paid back. So just keep that in mind also. So good for you, Lawrence and Linda. Do I know you guys? I probably do. Greg and John, pawn shops won't give you much. Well, pawn shops don't give you much for anything. Because they're worried, they got to make their profit and they got to get a buyer. Do not go to a pawn shop to sell anything. You never sell to a seller, you sell to a buyer. That's the one thing I can teach you that's good as gold. If you want to sell a painting, you don't go to an art gallery. You go to an auction house. You want to sell gold. Now, the difference is at the jewelry store, he'll give you a spot for it, but he won't give you the premium that he's going to get. So he buys it for $23.38. He sells it for $24.38. He makes his $100, but he will buy it from you. So it's very liquid. Gold's very liquid. As far as everybody who knows anything about it will buy it. Now, again, in different countries, Berlin, Switzerland, Spain, be careful. You probably want to go to a jeweler's who gives you spot for it. Okay, so I would ask around before I go there to sell it. Now, it might be prudent to go to Switzerland or Germany to sell it. Well, maybe not Germany. It could be prudent to go to Switzerland or Austria. You might not get 1099, and I'm not sure if we're going to – I don't even know what the 1099 is. I heard there's no 1099 on this because it's a quarter ounce and it's U.S. But who the hell knows? Anyway, the beauty of gold is you don't pay interest on it. Nobody knows you even have it. So you're not going to pay capital gains tax or anything like that. That Biden's trying to come out with a capital gains tax even if you didn't sell your stock. Oh, you own 1,000 shares of Microsoft? Oh, and you have them? Okay, so you've made, how much have you made on it? Oh, you made 10 grand on it? I want the tax. So he's trying to get a capital gains tax, which is what money you've made on your stock, but it's only supposed to be after you sell it, because it's really not a gain if you don't sell it, right? It's only a gain when you sell it, which is what I try to teach is you need to, you like for you Bitcoiners, you need to understand you've got to take profit like you would at a casino. So if you're playing blackjack or baccarat or craps, you start with 500 and it goes to 1,000, you take your profit. I just made 500. But if you keep playing and it goes to zero, you didn't make 500, you lost 500. So my point is, as you're playing, you put money away in your pocket, and then I'm going to quit winning 300. And if I keep winning, I quit winning 500. And if I keep winning, I quit winning 700. That's how you need to gamble. You need to quit a winner. And when you're playing Bitcoin, the biggest problem is these people are so stupid. They think that it's just going to go up. It's never going to go down. And I'm going to hold on to my Bitcoin till it hits, what, 1 million? Were you going to sell it at 1 million? No, I'm going to sell it at 2 million. Okay, first of all, Bitcoin is in dollars. It is not gold, and it is not backed by anything. So when this goes bye-bye, the Bitcoin goes bye-bye. You're prepared for that to happen? What's the value of Bitcoin? Well, geez, the dollar went to zero. I guess nothing. Anything priced in dollars goes to zero and the dollar goes out. So I don't know where Luke's getting 5 years. Heard the dollar will be around he's doing what Greg John's doing. He's hearing from somebody that it's going to be 5 years, but whom? I'm not saying that, and I'm the only person you should be listening to. So if you're listening to these other people, you're listening at your own risk. They're as smart as I am. Chances are they're not, unless they have a master's in Austrian economics. I guarantee you they're not as smart as me. And how could you say 5 years? Where were you pulling the number out of your ass? 5 years. Nobody knows. So you don't want to do that. But no, pawn shops, you only want to buy at pawn shops. You don't want to sell. And you want to buy cheap. And you know they have it and they're trying to move their inventory. So if anything's $500 at the pawn shop, you want to offer them $200 and let them say no and say fine. But you don't want to sell at a pawn shop. You want to sell if it's gold at the jewelers, if it's jewelry at the jewelers. Like I have this. So this is basically 1 ounce of this is 18 karat. It weighs 1 ounce. So it's the weight is 18 carats of an ounce of gold. So it's 0.75 of an ounce, and that's what it'll get. So if the spot's 2,400, 6, 12, 18, 24, I'll get 1,800 for this 1 ounce because it's not an ounce of gold, but it is 18 carats. I would get 1,800 for this. I pay $250. I have this I'm not selling because this is my present for getting my master's. So I'm not going to sell it, but I could get 1,800 for it. All I got to do is go to the jeweler and say, here, oh, it's worth 18. Even if gold goes to 20,000, I'm not going to sell it. I have no desire to sell it, but I might sell one of these if I want to. But I really probably don't. I'm not going to sell much gold unless it just becomes that. Now, what the government needs to do is come out with a new dollar and come out quickly, and they're not prepared for it because you got moron Biden running everything, and Janet Yellen, the joker, and the other idiot. So you got idiots in charge. They're not prepared. You need to come out with a new dollar that is gold back or something. You can't. This is worthless. So to come out with a new worthless dollar is not going to help you. To come out with the CBDC that's not backed by gold, it's the same thing. It's worthless. But you need to come out with some medium of exchange that has value, and the only one's going to be gold and silver. But you don't have any gold and silver. You're not smart enough to buy gold and silver at these cheap prices because you think, well, we can just keep printing and it won't affect the value because we're freaking idiots and we're in charge. And that's why you don't fight them. You beat them. So you buy gold, say, fine, do what you do. Keep printing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep printing and watch my gold price go to the moon. So that's what we got tomorrow. So we will see. According to Mark McGuire, they'll be doing their, it's already announced gold. There'll be a gold-backed currency. It'll be announced at the meeting. But there might be an October meeting, but that was last year. You're talking. There'll be a meeting tomorrow for the week, and then there'll be a meeting in June in St. Pete. And maybe there'll be another October meeting. They're having a lot of meetings, and they've already devised how they're going to do the gold-backed currency. So once that's out, it's how do we get it? Because if I sell an ounce of gold, I do not want this. So keep that in mind. If you do need the gold, the last thing you want is this, unless it's a mortgage payment or something. But you really don't want to be selling gold at these low prices. This is extremely low, 23.38 for gold, and it's price fixed. So once we blow up COMEX, because they're going to run out of gold and they won't be able to keep it down, and China and Russia and India and Saudi Arabia want their own gold price. They want to be able to make the gold price not have COMEX do it, right? Because in COMEX's eyes, they want the gold price low. Russia and China have the gold. They want a high gold price. The higher the price, the more control they have. When you got 30,000 tons of gold, you probably want a pretty high price on it. Oh, the U.S., you don't have any gold. Well, that's too bad, but we're going to make it 20,000 an ounce. I don't know what it'll be, but you won't see 2,300 again. These are the last days of this bargain gold price. So watch it. It'll go 5 and it'll go 10 and then it goes 20 and and then here comes silver. Silver's having a harder time because of the Tomahawk missile. It takes 500 ounces of silver to make the missile. And if you're trying to do this military complex, you need more Tomahawk missiles. Therefore, you need cheap silver or the electric car batteries. That's another bust, the electric cars. Nobody can afford them. You need the charging. There's not enough charging stations. We need the electricity for our houses. We don't need it for our cars. We have gas. Why would I want to go from a gas-powered car to an electric car? Name one thing. It's more expensive. Finding a charging station. The battery won't last because look at the battery on your phone and computer. You charge them every day. At first they last a few days and then it becomes every day you're charging and it goes down. So you want to go charge your car every day? Really? And you got nothing better to do? And wait till the lines are at the electric charging station. Do you think these idiots are going to make enough charger stations for you? So you're going to be waiting 2, 3, 4 hours just to get your turn to charge the car at who knows what the price will be. Oh, yeah, but you can't turn on the electricity at your house because we don't have enough electricity. That's why you need oil, and it's not going to hurt the environment. That's such a crock. So that's where you're at. You got to be careful with that. So therefore, I have no desire to buy an electric car, but you do need silver for it. And you need gold because it's money. And if you don't have gold, you're really screwed. So it's as much as you can eat now because your money's going to be worthless. And the gold itself will be only going up in value more and more. Again, think of you're on the Titanic. So this is the boat. You want to get off the boat and you want to get on the lifeboat, which is this. So as much as you can get rid of and keep a little bit, like I do, I keep a little bit for rent and, expenses, but I'm getting Social Security and unemployment at this point. So I'm doing fine. Keep enough there. And then and buy as much gold as you can with the rest and then watch the gold price go up. It's the easiest investment you ever made in your life. You have zero risk. You're going to make a ton of money on it. You can't miss. The demand is huge. And as the dollars all over the world go out, the gold's going to go to the moon because there's no other choice. Let's see. I got British pounds. What do I get into? There's nothing. I'm going to go buy US dollars? No. You're Egon in Switzerland. What are you going to buy? Well, I'll get out. Look at Egon. He buys gold. I mean, it's the only out. It's the only choice. That's the beauty of it. It's basically a monopoly. If you really think about it, the British pound and the euro and the dollar are going to zero because these idiots keep printing it because they're not backed by gold. And because they think, well, we'll just keep printing it and it won't have any problems. Well, you're dealing with morons. So as you start realizing it in these countries, where are you going to go? You look around. Well, I can't go to the US or the British pound or the Swiss franc. What else is there? I'm going to buy a house. It's in dollars. I'm going to buy a Picasso. Well, it's in dollars, but okay, it'll be priced in gold. You're going to buy a house. Market's about to crash. Good luck there. Well, I guess gold and silver are the only outs I can do that aren't going to get crushed because they're not priced in dollars. Even though the dollar's $600, it doesn't need to be priced in dollars to have its value. Where your house is going to go to zero because it's priced in dollars. Until I come along and say, well, here's a piece of gold for your house. and I might need 2 ounces. And you'll say, oh, yes, oh my God, 2 ounces of gold for the house? Take it. Now we can eat, Charlie. We got 2 ounces of gold. We're it's like the Euro trip when the kids go to Czechoslovakia, and the guy has a nickel. He tips them a nickel, and he says, I quit. I'm going to go buy a hotel with the FX rate. Well, that's what the gold's going to be like. Here you go, Charlie. Here's a 1/4 ounce. And the guy's going to, oh my God, I'm rich. You can't lose. It's a lock. It's the best bet you've ever made in your life with no risk. It can only go up. JP Morgan's gone because they're still trickling in, but they have to have the physical gold, which they're not going to. It's going to be gone because everybody's going to want it. So COMEX gold is going to be gone. COMEX silver a little bit longer because of the Tomahawk missiles and the electric batteries. But again, there's no physical. A lot of the companies are going right to the mines to buy the silver. So I think there's a whole conspiracy with the miners on the take to sell the silver cheap, because they got to be idiots. They could get a $500 an ounce for their silver, and they're taking 28. So what are you taking on the back door? What are you getting, a couple $1 million to sell it cheap to keep the price down? That's what it smells like to me. So we will see what happens tomorrow and this week again with brics. But according to this, there's 81 countries in June who want to join, which means they don't want to be in the dollar, which means there's no demand for the dollar, which means the value of the dollar drops. That's just what it means. Now, is 81 going to join? Is that true? I know that's what Colonel McGregor says, but we'll see. And again, some of the stuff you have to wait and see. Are they going to have a gold-backed currency? Well, supposedly, yes, that's coming this week. Okay. And then they'll figure out they'll announce it. But like Zimbabwe, it took maybe a week or a couple weeks or a month till from the time they announced it to the time they actually got the dollars out there. And then, so that's one thing. And now it's the same thing. Okay, they'll announce it in Russia tomorrow or Wednesday, whatever. How long will it take to get the dollars actually into the banks? From what I know about Russia, it won't be long. It'll be probably a month. And then you'll start seeing these BRICS gold-backed currencies, and we'll be running to Russia to sell our gold for BRICS gold-backed currency. Can anybody speak Russian? I speak a little. Yeah, Lublub Trevia. I love you. I tell that to Daria. So anyway, that's what's happening. It's coming down the pike. Anything else that I watched? India and Nigeria are forming an alliance to get out of the dollars, to deal. So the Nigerian dollar will pay the Indian dollar for transactions. So there's oil and stuff or goods that they want to buy from each other, and they're just going to use their currency. So again, not in the dollar. So Nigeria is just going to pay for them, and they'll figure out the FX rate, and India will buy from them. It's really not a big deal to use you don't really need, because the U.S. figures out the FX rate. It's all bullshit. So there just needs to be a mechanism. How many Nigerian dollars do I need to pay in Indian rupees? I mean, that's all it is. And neither currency is really worth much. That's the beauty of the gold. Everything gets translated into gold, and you can't fuck with gold. That's why it'll work in BRICS, because Russia, you might not trust Putin, but you trust gold. And the same thing with Xi. Nobody trusts China. But if we're using gold, I trust gold. There's nothing, you can't fuck it up. So that's why BRICS has to have gold because of the trust. Saudi Arabia and Iran, I believe, is in it. Egypt, they're all going to need. Nobody's going to trust anybody, but it's not that kind of thing. It's how do we pay for everything? Because each country has certain things that other countries want. That's why this nationalism shit doesn't work. So in other words, if the U.S., Trump did tariffs on steel to protect people, but that doesn't work because it drives the price up. Because if I do a big tariff and now steel's from Japan is now $1,200 a ton, and we can do it for $8. We're not going to do it for $8. We're going to raise the price to $1,200, and it's just going to hurt everybody. And people who need the steel are going to still going to pay for more for it. You want free trade because then there's competition, and then the price goes down, and then the end user's doing the benefits because we can buy the steel or the products that the steel makes much, much cheaper because the manufacturing was cheaper. So that's why protectionism doesn't work. Nationalism doesn't work. You need free trade, and you go and buy from the best. Amsterdam might have the best because they ship, and they're a big shipping port in France and England. You want to buy ships, you're probably buying it from those countries, but you don't want to buy, tanks from England because they don't use them. They got an island, so it's more boats and stuff. Lucas, wonder if you'll be able to go into a bank and trade your gold piece for a new dollar. That's a good question. I don't care. I'll go to my jewelry store and trade it for the dollar. The question is, what's the dollar going to be worth? Now, if they come out with a new dollar, it'll still be I can go to the jewelry store or the bank. I'd prefer to just go to the jewelry store and sell it to them, get whatever the currency is going to be, and keep it under the radar. Go to the bank. Oh, you're selling that. Fill out these 12 forms and everything else. So I'd rather go to the jewelry store to sell it, or eBay, or go to Switzerland. I'm going to test out the airports. So when I go, I bring about 10 quarters, and I bring a couple of these and some silver. And I put them in that little plastic tray with your shoes and your belt and your wallet and your keys. And I kind of lay it in the tray and put 5, 6 quarters around it. I've never been stopped because they're not looking for metal. They're looking for weapons, knives, guns, whatever. So since they're not looking for this, I never have a problem with it. Will I have a problem when the price goes up? I don't know. But I never go to customs. So when I get to Barcelona, I didn't stop at customs. I went down to luggage, got my bag, and walked out. They kind of say, if you have something to declare, well, nobody's going to declare it. Nobody's going to stop you. You're just going to go out and get a taxi. So there's nothing to declare. So usually I give Jenna, I think when we went, I brought the white container of silver. So I gave her like 10 ounces of silver, and I put a couple of quarter ounces in it. So it was one little thing, and I gave it to her, and she had silver and she had some gold. Nobody said boo. She had it. And I just tell her, don't keep it in the bank. Don't keep it in a safety deposit box, and figure out where you're going to sell it. Don't go to a pawn shop. Go to a jewelry store and sell it. So she hasn't sold it yet. She's smart, and she's listening to me, and she's seeing it $23.50. She's pretty happy. She's going, yeah, I guess you do know what you're doing. She kind of doubted it. Like, it's gold. It's like we deal in dollars. We don't deal in gold. And then I said, well, gold's up to 2,200. Gold's up to 2,300. And then she's like starting to go, yeah, I guess you're right. So it's pretty funny. TK, you watching the game? What does that mean? What game? Craig and John, you've got to learn to talk in complete sentences so we know what the hell you're talking about. You watching the game. What game? You talking basketball? You talking baseball? You're talking sideline soccer. What are you talking about? Do I look like I'm watching a game right now, or am I teaching economics? I don't know. But anyway, I will test that out for you. And you know how I go to Europe, so I'm going to figure out what to do. But once I'm there, it's so much easier to put 5 or 6 of these ounces and quarter ounces in my pocket. Nobody knows I have it, and they're worth a lot of money. And then it's simply find the best place to sell it. So if I go to Switzerland, I'm going to go talk to Egon and say, where should I sell this? Probably jewelry stores would be my guess. Are they going to charge me tax on it? I don't know. In Germany, yes. I don't know. In Spain and Portugal and Switzerland and Austria, I don't know what they'll do. Russia, I have no idea. Probably in Russia, they'll want to do that. But if it's 10,000 an ounce, I don't really care. So if I get 9,500, if I find out what it is, I might just cash it here and then take the money there. I don't know. But I'm going to look for the best. There shouldn't be any tax. Well, there might be a 1099 here, so we'll see what they charge me. So if I'm in Switzerland, what are you going to charge me? You're going to charge me a VAT tax? Maybe, maybe not. You're going to 1099 me? No, I'm not. I'm not Swiss, and it's America, so why would you do a 1099 for America? So I don't know. I'll try to research it. That's our next step, is how do we get it to where we want to sell it safely, and we'll be safe. Like I said, you put these in your pocket, ain't nobody going to know you have it. That's like I'm joking with Daria. She says, well, if you go on our trip, are they going to be okay that I'm Russian? And I go, well, unless you wear a shirt that says I'm Russian, nobody's going to fucking know, or nobody's going to care. Nobody cares if you're from Russia. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Like Jenna did wear a Ukraine shirt when I think we were in Barcelona or Portugal. It was Portugal. And she'd wear this Ukraine t-shirt, proud she was Ukraine. Nobody said a word. Finally, one Canadian couple were eating lunch, said, oh, Ukraine, oh, we support you and everything else. Otherwise, nobody gave a shit. And she's wearing the Ukraine shirt, real proud. And here Daria's worried about, oh my God, they're going to hurt me if they know I'm Russian. And I'm like, I'll do the talking. No, they'll probably want me more than you because I'm American. Anyway, so I'm waiting on that meet. I don't know. It's going to be a while. We're trying to get the mother to watch the daughter so we can go. And I'm just tired of asking. I don't know. I'm just getting frustrated with the whole thing. So I'm just going to wait for it. Well, whenever you're ready, tell me. Otherwise, I'll go hang out with Jenna for a while. So anyway, you've got to understand the game. The game is to get out of the dollar because these idiots are printing it. So it has no more value. I showed you China and India are getting out of it because they're printing it to death and they want to diversify from the dollar. Well, why do they want to do that? Because they know it's worthless. Why do all the central banks in Europe and Africa and Asia want to get out of the dollar? Because they know it's worthless. So just use logic. Well, they're all getting out. They know it's worthless. So therefore, and don't worry about the price. The price is paper, so don't worry. Let's see what the price is at, Luke. For you, I know how anxious you get. The gold price at 812 is 23.38, basically. So it got up, started 23.57, silver 28.29, gold 23.38. So we're down 23 for no reason. There's no profit taking. There's no reason gold is down. That's the funny part is, oh, it's profit taking. It's not. Nobody profit takes gold because of the premium. It's the stupidest thing. And who wants to sell their gold at these ridiculously cheap prices, which most people don't realize? 23.38 is a ridiculously cheap price for gold. This is When this hits 20,000, this is 5,000, right? It's selling for about 700 now, 650, 675. It's going to be 5,000. So why would you sell it at 675? See, the problem is people think it's cheap, or they think it's at an all-time high. It's 23.38. Time to sell it. Look how high it is. It's not high at all. It's very, very cheap, but people can't put two and two together. Well, I've seen gold at 1900 and 2000. Finally hit 23. So I'm going to sell it now. Why are you selling it? Why do you think it's at 23? It's going to 10. Like, why would you do that? It's COMEX that's kept it down. It's blowing up. It's not going to keep it down anymore. It's paper gold. We're looking at physical gold, and they just don't get it. They're naive, and they haven't been taught. So they see something that's now worth 23.30 going, oh, well, that's it. It's at its all-time high. No, it isn't. It's still being priced. That's paper gold, and it's being pushed down by JP Morgan. It's not the market. So the question is, are we getting to the market? And the answer is yes, the market's coming. You can see what's happening in China and India, and you're keeping the price low, so they're buying and buying and buying. And when it runs out, guess what? Price goes up. And you can see all the people buying. So they're not going to stop buying because there's nowhere else to go. And it's the best investment, and there's no risk. So why would I stop? And that's, people keep working, and they keep getting paid in junk. Even the yuan, the yen, and the ruble, Russia, China, and Japan, they're getting paid in toilet paper. So if I'm getting paid in toilet paper, I want to move it into gold also. That's the great Ponzi scheme, right? So you're making $100,000 a year, you ain't making nothing because you're getting paid in toilet paper. So you pay your bills. So I'm paying my rent, which the guy doesn't realize he's getting paid in toilet paper. And then the extra you don't want in your bank, you don't want in your safe, you want it in gold and silver, or put it in your safe in case for a rainy day or something. That's what you're trying to do. Anyway, so that's the bottom line, my friends. So let's see what we got today. And I know some of the games have left. We got Cleveland plus the 12.5. Very strong play. We got Oklahoma plus 1.5, 10 unit. That's almost a lock. It's almost bet gold on it. There's no way Oklahoma's losing tonight. Baseball, Baltimore under 7.5, and Detroit over 9's already started. Boston, Philly over 7, the Cubs under 8, probably already started. Washington is the 10 unit in baseball. That you might be able to play. Milwaukee over 8.5, Cleveland over 9, Houston over 8.5, KC, San Diego over 8, Arizona over 8.5, San Francisco under 7.5. The plays, Boston, which has started, the Cubbies under 8, which you might be able to get into. Washington's the 10-star, Washington to win the game. Houston over 8.5. So there's 4 plays. Boston and Washington, the Cubs under 8, Houston over 8.5. Oklahoma, I know you still got an hour for that one. In basketball, look for them to rip Dallas a new asshole. They can't go down 3-1. It's pure psychology. It's the art of war. The back's against the wall. There's no freaking way they're losing. So Oklahoma we love, and Washington, just the pitching matchup. So 4 games, and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, not much else. Be stoic. Gold's the right answer. So if your family or friends or kids or parents start, why are you buying gold? Say, because if I stay in dollar, I'm going to lose everything. And if I stay in this, it's going to be worthless. It already is worthless. So I can't stay in this. So I don't have a choice. I got to get into gold and silver. So Luke with his 5 years also heard the dollar will be around for another 5 years. Who said that? Peter Schiff? I mean, what idiot said that? Right, Kurt? you don't know how long it's going to be, but I wouldn't want to hold it for 5 years. Put it this the way they're printing it and the way the debt is, what's it going to be worth in 5 years? And you're going to have a gold-backed BRICS currency to deal with. How much of that is it? How much dollars is it going to take to buy gold? And eventually the dollar won't be able to buy gold at all. There won't be an amount of dollars able to buy gold. It'll be too expensive. So it might be around, but it won't. It'll be like, just look at the Venezuelan Zimbabwe dollar. How much were they worth? Yeah, they're still around at 50,000% inflation. And what in Zimbabwe, the kid was showing $80 trillion got you $1. He had a whole stack of dollars and it was worth $1. So it might be around, but what will it be worth? What will it be able to buy? And it'll only really be able to buy goods that are US. So maybe our food, but they're gonna, how much is it gonna cost? So keep that in mind. So yeah, we all might be, I don't know if you go to Europe, maybe we go to Sweden, Copenhagen, Africa, maybe we go there. Forget the Middle East. Maybe we go to Russia, thinking of that. So we will see. But anyway, that's about it. So that's our class for tonight. And we did 2 hours. Any questions or comments? Again, you can always go to teacherking.com, get my email, and send me a question or comment. You can always say, well, where should I buy gold, or what should I do, or how do I do it? It's very simple. You go to a jewelry store that sells gold. You're going to have US dollars, Krugerrands, Maple Leafs, Swiss, or not Swiss, Austria Philharmonics, Australia kangaroos. So certain countries and British have gold. So those countries are going to sell 1 ounces, half ounces, quarter ounces. Usually the dollars, the US dollar is the most expensive. To me, it's an ounce of gold. I don't really care. So I buy the Maple Leafs, Krugerrands. I buy some US dollars, as you can see, but it's usually whatever the guy has. But if the guy has Maple Leafs and it's cheaper, I don't hesitate. I'm buying an ounce of gold and I dance out of the store. So that's all you do. Silver, the same thing. You buy the bullions, you don't buy the dollars. And you're buying an ounce of gold and you're buying an ounce of silver, or you're buying a half ounce or a quarter ounce of gold. I would not buy the junk silver. What good is a silver quarter from 1964? It's not going to, nobody's even going to know it. Just buy the bullion. It's only it's like $28, $29, maybe $30 today. Just buy it. And when you sell it, you go back to the jeweler. He's going to give you spot. And you'll say, thank you very much. But you're not buying it today to sell it tomorrow. You're not buying silver at $30 an ounce to sell at 32. That's not the game. The game is to get out of the dollar to buy the gold and silver. So when the dollar goes out and the gold and silver go to the moon, now you have money to go eat with and buy houses and cars with. That, you got gold and silver. And everybody wants gold and silver. It's the most demanded thing in the world. Maybe not as much in the US now, but it will be when the shit hits the fan. So anyway, that's what you want. You don't really get taxed on it unless you sell it. And then even then, we're not sure. So that's really what it is. And you go, and it's easy to sell. Just go back to the jeweler that you bought it at and say, I want to sell. And he'll give you a spot. No questions asked. You just, here it is, and he gives you the money. Now, my guy might be giving me checks, I heard, when I'm ready to sell, which I don't care, as long as I can go to the bank and cash it. But again, what do I want I don't want my money in dollars. I never want to sell this for this. The point is to sell this for this. So I don't want to sell this for this unless I need to pay, for groceries or go to dinner or a plane ticket or something, or I need a car and I can use. So I sell my gold to then immediately take the money to buy something. That's the only time I would sell it, to get dollars and then immediately sell the dollars. So that would be it. Otherwise, I'm not selling. I'm not selling gold to hold dollars. I'm selling dollars to hold gold. And the more you get, the happier you are, the more money you make. So buy as much as you can. And I would recommend the jewelry stores where you can buy a quarter ounce. So it's only going to cost you $650, $675. Not always 2,400. Because how much do you have, and how much? Now I would get my money out of a 401k or a pension. If you have a pension at work worth 300,000, I would immediately sell it and buy gold with it, because it's not gonna have a value, and the gold price will be so expensive you won't get it. I remember I was at this one job and I was teaching gold, and the guy had $100,000, and he went to my gold guy with his $100,000, and he bought, I think he got 55 ounces at the time, 55, 54 ounces. Now at 2,500, he'd only be able to get 40. So he went from buying 55 to now only buying 40 with this 100,000. That's how much the value of the dollars dropped and the value of the gold's gone up. So the longer you wait, the less you're going to be able to afford, because it's not coming down. This is not, there's no reason for it to be going up other than the dollars are going out, and therefore it's going to keep going. So there's no reason. It's not a bubble that's going to collapse. It's not a Tesla stock that went from 2 to 300. Oh shit, I better get out now. So you got to understand that, Luke. We need a better way to transact in gold if the system is going to change. Right now, it's way difficult. Need the banks to get involved once everything changes. Just go to the jeweler store. Wherever you buy it at, just go back there and they'll take it happily. My jewelry store, if I went back tomorrow and I said, give me the 6, whatever the spot is, he'll give it to me. No questions asked. So I don't really get it. It's not hard. Just go where you're buying. Go to a jewelry store. Seems like a new system is still years away, unfortunately. Well, I bet it can't be, because they're going to have to replace the dollar. Talking about larger transactions, house, car. Luke, when you go buy a house, you're going to go to the owner, right? So you're going to go see a $500,000 house, and you're going to go with your gold, and you're going to offer the guy a couple ounces for the house, and he's going to take it. There's not going to be a 30-year fixed mortgage, nothing. He's going to take the gold for the house and run. That's what you're going to do for the gold, to buy a house or a car. That's what you're going to do. As far as, like, you won't need to make a 30-year mortgage anymore, or a 5-year mortgage in a car. We'll give him an ounce of gold and that's it. And if he needs it, then you go to the jeweler's store and you get 15,000 for the ounce, maybe. So you give him 2 ounces for 30 grand. You take the check and you go to Toyota and say, here you go, I want the car. That's all you're going to do. You don't need to do what you do with money, where I'll take out a 4-year loan on a car or a 30-year fixed mortgage. With gold, you won't. You'll be using the gold to buy it. That's the difference. Well, we don't really need a new system. We have the system. The system's the medium of exchange. So you pay me in this, and then I go shopping. I go to Kroger's, or I go to Target or Costco, and I use this to buy the goods. The system's in place. The medium of exchange needs to be changed from this piece of crap to currency backed by that. So just look at the Zimbabwe gold, right? So let me show you. I put it somewhere. Hey, where did I put it? Here we go. So here's the Zimbabwe gold currency. So it's a 10. It's from $2 to 200. So it'll just be like that. That's the medium of exchange. So that's all they're doing is going from this to this, but instead of coins, and there will be coins, they're going, okay, this is worth 10 gold dollars, and the value of the gold will be shown. So that's what you're going to use to go to the grocery store. So the system doesn't change. You get paid in gold and use the gold to buy stuff. So there's really no change there, right? The system's set. The medium of exchange is set. Just give me something that I can use to get paid, my paycheck, and to buy things. So that's all that's going to happen. All these clowns need to do is get rid of this and go to a gold backed dollar like this, and we all get paid. Our pay gets, sliced in three quarters. So you're making 100 grand, you're making 25, but you're getting gold back money instead of toilet paper. So you're way ahead with the gold. That's all that needs to happen. It should be very simple. Come out with a new dollar backed by gold. It's not a difficult thing. And whatever you're doing with it, now in Zimbabwe, they let you do one for one. So if you had 10,000 Zimbabwe dollars, you then switched it for 10,000 gold Zimbabwe dollars. So they did 1-to-1 in the bank. You had 30 days to switch your bank account to gold backed currency. And it was like it was incredible. Now you actually have money that's worth something. So keep in mind, the medium of exchange works perfectly. You just shouldn't be ruining the freaking money. This should never be printed to zero. What the hell are you thinking? This is just to get your paycheck and buy your groceries and pay your rent and pay your car and invest it. That's all this should be used for. It's not complicated, but you don't screw it and make it worthless. You don't do that. That's not the intention of having the medium of exchange. It's supposed to be limited. That's the idea of the money is it's limited. You're not supposed to print it. So here comes Biden and the MMT boys that says, "Oh, you can just print as much as you want. There's no problem." That was music to my ears. That means, oh shit, the inflation's here. I got to get into gold very quickly. I should have been in it anyway. Well, I was a little bit, but not like I am now. And that's why I buy the gold, because I can see what's happening. They're printing, and the value is going to go to zero because I can see what's going to happen. You print, it goes to zero. You eat 10 chocolate cakes in 10 days, you're going to gain 20 pounds and be sick. It's A equals B. A causes B to happen. What about physical silver? Same with groceries? Well, it should be, yeah. I mean, should be gold and silver, or they'll use silver in the gold, but it should be $1. It should just be a bill. There's probably some silver in the Zimbabwe, but that's the idea. That's why when I laugh when people go, "How am I going to go to the grocery store?" Well, you're going to go to the grocery store the same way you go to the grocery store now. You'll have a debit or credit card that'll trigger the gold backed currency in your account. So your account now at Chase that you use your debit and credit cards with will turn into a gold currency. So when you use your debit card, it'll be pulling the gold backed currency, not the paper crap out of your account. So nothing really changes. You're only changing the medium of exchange from toilet paper to actual paper backed by gold. That's all you're doing. It should be very simple. The problem is going to be the prices. If I'm at Kroger's and I got, sirloin steak or New York strip and it's $15 for a pound, how do I exchange it? What's the value of it now? $2, $3? I mean, that's all you're going to pay for it. It'll be nothing because it's gold backed currency. And this is toilet paper that's worthless versus this that actually has a value. And once we determine the real value of the gold, not the bullshit paper value, I'll be buying, an ounce of silver is you're going to fill your cart up at the grocery store. Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be the dollars. Do you think we will see a bounce tomorrow in the spot price of gold? Do you know what time an announcement will be made by BRICS? Well, I have no idea, but I know BRICS, I know Russia because of Daria. When I go to bed at 12, it's 7 in the morning. So when you wake up, there should be an announcement already. If it's the first thing on the table, but it will be talked about. I'm not sure what date. I haven't seen the agenda, but I know they're going to announce the gold-backed currency. It's already been green-lighted, according to Mark McGuire. So if it's already green-lighted, it'll be announced, and then it'll be when does it actually hit the shelf? Because the Zimbabwe, this was announced, but it didn't hit the bank for like a month. But now it's at the bank. That's why I say we should go to Zimbabwe, take 10 grand US and go buy $10,000 worth of Zimbabwe gold-backed currency and retire, because we would never have to work again. So that's where we're at. So do I see the bounce back? Yeah, I mean, we got it to 2370 last week, and they keep fighting it. I don't know how. I mean, because they got to have gold to actually do it. You've got to, if you're doing the derivatives, and China's buying them from you, you have to have gold to sell to China. You got to have physical. But again, these are so leveraged that, $10,000 worth of gold controls 200,000 worth of gold. That's the big problem. That's the joke of it all. So we got to break that up, which I think we'll be breaking very soon. That's just about done. I think Mark said the end of the second quarter, so Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. So by the end of June, COMEX should be gone in gold, silver a little bit farther, but the demand for silver is so strong, and they don't have any, it's all paper dollars, so just ignore it. I know it's hard, but it's just the paper, gold and silver. It's not real. It's not this. This isn't even... There is no value on this, really. The paper 2368 is not a physical 2368. That's why I see much higher physical value, because they don't, amazingly enough, do not have a real physical price of gold. How the fuck can they not have that? And nobody says anything. I can't believe the Russians and Chinese didn't come out with a physical gold that ignores the paper gold. So it's just amazing. So we will see. It'll be this week. We'll find out. I'll let you know. It should be on YouTube, I would imagine, one of these India or China stations, or the Russian or Colonel McGregor or one of these guys will, just go on in the afternoon and look BRICS, and boom, they announced the gold backs, but they've already really announced it, right? It's not like, will they announce it? It's already been announced. It just it's been green lighted. It's just how they're going to do it. And believe me, they're tired of this war, so they want to do it soon. They want to bankrupt the U.S. and end the fucking war. Putin's so sick of this because it's the stupidest war I've ever seen. There's no point to this. There's no Russia won. There's no war. They're not fighting Hitler or anything. Russia didn't even want to go into the war. They wanted to end it, and the U.S. wouldn't end it. It's my guess the U.S. just walks away and ignores it. So it's sort of like you got a girlfriend, and you just stop calling her, right? I'm done with her. I'm not going to call her anymore. And after a couple of weeks, she realizes, oh, he's not calling me anymore. So that's where we're at with it. So this is what we should be getting. There'll be a digital version and then this paper version, and that's all that it's a switch from this piece of crap to that. Only that is not crap. And the only reason we need this because it only comes in coins. It's really not coming out in dollars yet. So we should be able to take this and go to the bank to get, well, give me $700 in dollars for the coin. But I'll hold on to my coin. Thank you very much anyway. I don't see getting rid of my coins. It's just everything in dollars. I'll just switch to the gold back. That's all that should happen. It's a medium of exchange. You get paid in X and you take it and then you spend it in Y. And the remainder is what you buy: stocks, bonds, gold, go on vacation. That's the remaining extra of what you earn versus what you spend. And it'll just be an adjustment. So a plane ticket to Barcelona, which is about $1,200, $1,300 now, will be like $100 gold. I mean, that's really what's going to happen. The prices will get so cheap only in gold though, but your dollar won't be able to handle it, right? You'll need $20,000 to fly to Barcelona, or with gold, it'll be $100. That's what's going to happen. So that's why I say, if you have the gold now at these cheap prices, you're all set. You don't have to worry about it. So that's the big bonus, and nobody realizes it. They're all with their dollars. Warren Buffett, I got $2 billion, and what you going to do with it? He thinks, oh, I'll buy stuff cheap. No, you won't, because the dollar won't be worth anything. And you Bitcoiners, your dollar won't be worth. Their Bitcoin won't have a value because it's valued in dollars. Your house won't have a value in dollars until it gets valued in gold. Will the Bitcoin get valued in gold? Well, I don't know. I'm not in it. I'd rather be in gold, watch it go up, than be in Bitcoin, watch it go down. But again, Bitcoin's not backed by gold. That's the biggest problem with it. And if Larry Fink's in it, I don't want to do any business with a guy like Larry Fink in my transactions. It's like doing Madoff, right? Yeah, I'm in this fund with this guy Madoff, and he promises 15%. But when I ask him how he does it, he can't answer. He's a moron. But yeah, what the hell? It's Madoff. I keep getting my 15% every month, so that's all I care about. Even though it's a Ponzi scheme, I don't care. I don't understand why he didn't buy gold. That made no sense. Why Madoff kept putting it in dollars and not gold. Then he could just close it up. Say, yeah, we're closing the fund up. I've now got 20,000 tons of gold. Yeah, I'm gonna close it. I don't know why. If he had any brains, he would have done that. That just shows you how stupid he was. And then he would never have gotten caught because he'd be in gold and he'd say, I'm closing it. I don't know what he was thinking. I'll just keep running it. I'll just keep it open. Okay. And this is the guy that ran NASDAQ, right? These are your guys, your clowns on Wall Street are a bunch of Madoffs. So protect yourself, please. Here you can't worry about, there's no Madoffs. You got your gold, you're all set. There's nothing that can happen. Nobody can fuck with you. They can't say, they can't attack on Wall Street you and say, this is really worth nothing. No, they can't do that. They can't take it from you. So that's the difference. They can't. Oh, I thought I had a RIT worth 60 grand. Nah, it's not worth anything. So that's the big thing. I feel the new gold-backed currency won't be implemented until Trump is in office. Otherwise, the show continues. It won't really be a choice or an option. They'll have to do it because the market dictates it. So in other words, because China and Russia and India are buying all this gold and nobody wants this, and this fails to go and this goes to zero, it won't be a Trump thing or a non-Trump thing. That's what's going to happen, right? If nobody wants your dollar and it loses the value to zero, it is not a Trump or a Biden thing or a Yellen thing or a Boog Powell thing. It won't matter. It's nobody wants it. It has no value. So we don't care. We'll be in gold and waiting for the new gold back. Maybe we won't get it. Maybe we need to go to Russia and get their gold, get the BRICS gold back currency, or go to Saudi Arabia, or go to, I don't know, all these strange countries, Brazil, go to, is there a good one? India? Don't want to go there. China, don't want to go there. Maybe Singapore or Hong Kong. Or we'll go to Zimbabwe. Maybe we all end up in Zimbabwe. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I think I'm heading to Russia. If it gets to that point, I might be headed to Russia. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know if Trump would do it. I don't know that he's, Trump is not the answer man. He's not very intelligent. He's rich because his dad left him a bunch of money. I'm not confident that Trump's in office, we'll go to a gold-backed currency, and everything will be fine. He's the one that did these huge tariffs on China that, caused the big recession, because he did 20-25% tariffs. You don't want to do that. It raised all the costs. So I don't know that he really knows what's going on either. He's not the smartest, he's the guy that says, you're fired. So I don't really like him either. I'm not quite sure he's the man. Just we'll keep an eye on what's going on. Like I said, if we have to go to Switzerland or Sweden or Copenhagen, then that's where we're going. Somewhere in like that part of Europe. Because I don't know that Germany and France and England, I don't want to go. They're worse than here. France is terrible. Italy is terrible. I don't know where you can live. I wouldn't want to live in Germany. Very dangerous. So it's Switzerland, very expensive. Austria was very nice. Otherwise, maybe it's Russia. It ain't the Ukraine. That's for sure. Romania was very nice, although run by mafia, but maybe that's okay. I've been there. They got a lot of nice restaurants, very cheap. So we'll see. It might be countries like that. Hungary. I think Hungary might be a good play. They got a really good guy in charge there. I don't know, what do you call him, the mayor or the president. Very good guy. If you ever watched Hungary, very, very nice place. I think I have to see Serbia. I'm hoping to go with Daria. And it's supposed to be a very nice country. It was mostly Russian, but now it's more neutral. So I'll report on that when I meet Daria soon, I hope. Anyway, that's about it. So stay stoic. We know what's going on. We know the outcomes. We don't let anybody bully us into saying, oh, why do you have gold? Don't get gold. Buy dollar, buy stocks, buy oil stocks. See, you've got to stay stoic. We know this is the correct route. Just stay strong to your conviction and you'll end up winning. I mean, we can't lose with gold. We know that. So if anybody tries to say anything, I just ignore them. I'm like, fuck off. Gold is the place to be. I know that. So see you later. But I don't think it matters if it's Trump. Biden's too stupid. He's the one getting us into this. But Trump didn't do much to stop it either. Now, my friend Chelsea said that she thought Trump took a bunch of gold out of the Vatican and was going to use that to back the new currency in gold with the gold from the Vatican that was the US's. I've tried finding that. I can't find Trump Vatican gold. The Vatican has a lot of gold, very corrupt. But but I don't know how much of the U.S. is. We have no gold, right? We don't have 8,000 tons. We know that. Now, if Trump found gold in the Vatican and we actually have 5,000 tons of it, then we'll go on the gold standard. I don't know what these states are doing, like Nebraska just announced, or Florida or Texas, this gold stuff, but how's that going to work? So, I mean, so I'm in Texas with my, so what am I going to do with this in Texas? It doesn't work like that. You've got to have the gold backed currency. So we'll wait and see on that. But so 11 states have said that, but I don't even understand it. It's constitutionally gold and silver are money. So what do you need Florida and Texas and Nebraska to say, okay, gold's legal here? Gold's legal everywhere in the U.S. What the hell are they saying? So we will see what's going on there. Anyway, don't forget the big lock tonight's Oklahoma getting 1.5 in the 9:30 basketball game. They will win by 20, no question. That is a lock, my friends, because their back's against the wall and they must win. They cannot lose. They can't go down 3-1. They're the better team, and they won't go down to 3-1. It'll be desperate, and they'll take them. So, anyway, that's what's going on. Still no Bobby. Anything on Bobby, Luke? Like, where the hell is the guy? I never seen. He's there. Is he in the hospital? Did he move to Cuba? I mean, he never emailed me anyway, but the last time was when you were on and he was on. That was a couple weeks ago, but I haven't seen him since. And it's weird because he'd always pop in. So I don't know. Very strange. But hopefully he's okay. Most importantly, medically he's okay. Buying his gold, and then we'll see when football starts. He's not here, but for that, I don't know. Then maybe he's held prisoner in a Siberia jail or something. Bobby went to Amsterdam and he got stuck there. All right, I've already eaten, so I'm just gonna watch. It was late. My back started bothering me. I went to sit down and get some sun at the club, and the ledge is a little bit high, so I had to jump on, and then I was fine. And then when I jumped off, I must have done something to my back. I couldn't walk after that, and I'm thinking I just walked from the car here. I was fine. I'm just getting sun, and all of a sudden, I couldn't walk. I couldn't swim. I couldn't. The hot tub was. It was just this intense pain. So I got home and I took my ibuprofen and I put an ice pack on it, and it's a little bit better. I think once I sleep on it, I'll do a little bit more ice and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's pretty painful. Now it's kind of subsided, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't sit to do class until it relaxed. Anyway, that's it. Be stoic. Just do what you know. Learn what you know. Do what you know. You'll be fine. Don't listen to these other idiots unless you know who they are. So if somebody says in 2 years it's going to be like that, do you know who they are? Do you trust them? And what's the reason? What are they giving you that is 2 years? Or are they just saying 2 years, pulling it out of thin air? Especially if it's Ray Dalio or this Rick Reichert or Rick Rude or any of those guys. They don't know what they're talking about. They're all Keynesians, and it's just a guess 2 years. So I will try to look at what you were looking at, but don't like it. All right. Have a nice night. Let's go win some money on Oklahoma. www.teaserking.com. You can get that's my site. You can get my email. I want to start teaching the class, $25 for a class. I would do it private here. You pay for it. You'll get your email. Until then, I'll keep doing this. The sports will be different. So there's sports and there's economics. I'm trying to sell the economics because nobody knows what they're doing there, and they're all going to get broke. The sports I can help, but baseball, we're just figuring it out. So that's about it. Luke, Greg, John, Lawrence, and Linda, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. And just feel free to ask the questions and comments. That's why I do it live. It's always there after. I mean, I had like 9 views yesterday, and then I see 30 now. So I know people are watching after, but it's just if you want to be able to ask me a question or a comment, like Luke does, it's much easier if you ask me and I can answer it than if he watches it and how does he answer me? Okay, everybody. Have a nice night. Take care.